Hello everyone and welcome to the second match of the second round of the Clash of the Clans. So this time we've got the team 815 versus the team FFR2. So team 815 represented by Spork Farkal, don't even know how to pronounce these A's, Bad Danny and Toblerone74 playing as NATO, so in blue, against Jalma, Black Knight and Battalion Man playing as PACT in red. So here we go for the match that is once again taking place on Hamburger Hill. Same map as the 4 last games and the same map for the 6 next games. I'm gonna get sick of this map quite quickly. So, as usual, a 3-wave attack, well, 3 directional deployment, sorry. 1 direction on Lima and November, 1 army on Echo, well, middle of the map and the 3-point sectors, and 1 army on the left side, even if those armies in these games seem a bit more well, limited, very small armies. In terms of points spent, we've got nearly the same amount in both teams, and both teams are going for the middle of the map. In terms of support, we've got the Eternal MLRS units, which are about to shoot right now, 2 MLRS units for NATO, and something a bit more original, no smarts, but 4 Malka units on the PACT side. So here we go. The Black Hawks have just dropped 2 Delta forces in Echo to take control of the building. Unfortunately, an ME, 3 ME, 2 2 Ds and 1 A are here to stop them. 1 Delta Force squad is destroyed, and the Black Hawks are being targeted. The MLRS have been shooting. The Chaparral and the Roland are arriving to support the infantry. The blob of PACT units is taking quite a big hit, even if not that much units are killed. The helicopters here are killed. 1 Kiowa and 2 Apaches are here to support. Unfortunately, 1 Apache and the Kiowa are destroyed by the OSA AK AIM. Quite a good anti-air over here. So, 3 helicopters down against 2 plus 2 Black Hawks, and 1 Delta Force down. The first encounter is quite bloody in the middle, but not as bloody as other games we've seen together. The Malkas are starting to shoot at the NATO forces, who are pulling back into the forest, and the commander is in a bad shape here. He is panicking. He took a direct hit. Only 3 HPs left. He may have a bit some trouble to get out of there. Another nearly direct hit and 1 HP lost. These Malkas are doing a lot of damage here. A lot of vehicles are being destroyed. Here we go, 3 VAPs destroyed in 1 hit. And infantry panicked. But all in all, the commander has survived. Still a few units capable of defending the area. And the PACT forces aren't that well on their side, so it's pretty well balanced in the middle of the map. On the left side, well, no sector has been captured, just a few infantry units deployed to secure the forests, but that's pretty much it. 2 sectors at 3 points have been taken. Over here, neither November or Lima have been taken. Even if a commander is here, he's a bit at the edge of the sector, a bit far away. Well, it's a bit stupid to waste points like this, but it's things you can forget in a game. In Mike, a commander has been sent, so that's the only difference between the 2 teams. 4-point sectors have been taken, even if over here the commander has been destroyed. Oh my god, the commander has been destroyed by the artillery, probably. A very hard situation here for the NATO players. Both 3 sector points here have been taken. 3 sector points here taken by the NATO players, and this sector just captured by the M577G. So, a pretty balanced team for now. A little, well, no point advantage. Well, as usual, point advantages at the start of the games are always insignificant and don't mean that much. So, middle of the map more or less controlled by the PACT players, just because NATO has lost its commander in Echo. A bit of shelling here with American mortars on Juliet, with a limited impact. Doesn't do much damage against a tank. The few NATO forces left in Echo are in pretty bad shape, routing or totally nearly killed. Delta forces are the only operational forces really in a shape to do anything in this sector, but they are a bit lost in the middle of the sector. If they move out of the building, they'll just get killed. On the left side, still this infantry face to face, no real combat. And on the right side here, we've got a nice detachment here that went out to capture Mike. Commando supported by a lot of anti-air and quite a lot of infantry and Leopards too, or Leopards too, depending if you want the British or Germanish way. But Mike is controlled. A few 4 infantry units in their Scott 2s are coming in to try to take out the commander. We'll see how this goes out. This goes on. On Lima, nearly no defenses in the sector. We've got a lot of packed forces massed in the forest. We've got infantry, we've got Zalos, we've got T-64, T-55, and yeah, that's pretty much it. T-72. They could have attacked here. I mean, this is a sector where the PACT should have attacked, but it's always the same thing. I can see everything while they don't see that much, especially with very limited recon. Well, they've got a helicopter behind, but they can't... Yeah, they still see this pretty much nothing over here. Over here in Mike, the infantry units have deployed in the forest. Hopefully for the NATO players, they've seen the arrival of the infantry units and the commander has just pulled back to avoid being killed stupidly. The Leopards and the Marauders are coming back to kill the infantry, but no real loss in Mike here for the NATO team. Once again, the MLRS are shooting in the forest. A few units are killed or stunned, but no real damage here. We've still got all the Zalos, the T-55s, and all the big units over here. Some units going down to try to go around the enemy forces. Unfortunately, it seems like they've been... no, not yet, but Cobras are here to avoid any unit coming around. Here we go, they are spotted and the Cobras are going for them. So they're gonna pull back or get killed, totally destroyed. In the middle, still the same situation. The Malkas are still shooting in the forest, even though there's pretty much nothing there. Only the Delta forces and the Milan F2 are here. Hopefully they're gonna be resupplied. They are out of ATGMs, but no commander detected to control Echo, maybe in the reinforcement area. No, still no commander here to control Echo. So for now, PACT has a small advantage. They've got 3 sectors here for 7, 8, 9 points against 7, so 6, sorry. And considering Mike will soon be in the hands of NATO troops soon, pretty much. Cobras here just wiped out the little PACT forces. The bug didn't manage to kill any helicopter, and a bit of Vipizedu here are advancing. And we'll try to, well, do nothing. This is a point in the game where the PACT troops maybe should have attacked. A bit too defensive here. They've got a huge force compared to the NATO force, and they aren't even trying to push. That's probably going to be a mistake in later in the game. So in Echo, still the same situation, still the Delta forces and the Milan F2 with, well, that's all in Echo. Well, there's not that much on the PACT side either, a couple of tanks, but that's pretty much it. Going back onto Mike, the commander is coming back into the sector. Here we go. Still this anti-air to protect, and the PACT forces have been pushed back, so quite a good situation here for NATO forces. I'm gonna speed things up a little, as there's not much going on. Helicopters coming back to into Charlie, anti-air being sent on the right side of the map. And still, well, less and less troops in Echo. The Delta forces have been killed. So for now, it's pretty much observation between the two forces. Jaegers are sent into the forest here to try to push back a little the enemy army. Well, 22 Jaegers won't do much. Units have regrouped over here, but they may take some damage if the Jaegers just... yeah, they might do a lot of damage here. Over here, a bit more action. Well, not even. Just the MLR is still continuing to shoot. The Apaches are coming in to try to kill a few tanks, not doing pretty much damage. The Jaegers are pretty much all dead. Apache starting to shoot at the infantry and the tanks. Unfortunately, the Osa is firing back and the Apache is going out. of their, well, barely alive. Infantry sent in into Echo, and a bit on the left also. Still no commander in sight to capture the sector, and the MLRS units shooting once more, but without any corrected side. It isn't very efficient. Over here, the Malkas are shooting at the commander. The commander is in a bad shape, only 2 HPs left. He's routing. Very bad. Oh, hopefully he isn't routing anymore. The NATO player is able to pull him back just before he gets killed by the artillery, who shot a bit too much to the left, unfortunately for the NATO players. PACT players, sorry. Mike still controlled by the NATO players. Pretty much a good defense over here with heavy tanks and Marder 1A1s. The only problem here is that you've got 4 heavy tanks, so quite a lot of points stacked over here for no real reason. There aren't any enemy units over there, and they aren't attacking, so it's pretty much a waste of points. Over here, one BRDM2U is sent to capture Echo, and the MLRS are shooting and pretty much killing only one friendly unit, the VAB. And here we go, the BRDM2U is seen by the NATO players, and that's maybe gonna be... yeah, it's gonna cost a lot to the PACT players. The MLRS are shooting, probably hitting, targeting the commander, and that's the case. The commander is targeted, and the BRDM2U is killed. Echo has been captured by the PACT players only for a few seconds. So the BRDM2U didn't reinforce himself. So that's quite a heavy loss for the PACT players. The commander in Lima has been repaired and is coming back. So no big loss here for the NATO players. NATO players who controlled Kilo for a few seconds. The commander just left Kilo and going probably for Oscar. A better choice, more points, and of course a nice reinforcement area just next to the PACT lines. In the middle, still this statu quo. We've got still the MLRS shooting at pretty much anything they want, anything they can. Not a nice collected shot here, so no real damage. Bit of waste of ammunition. And on the left side, still this observation between the two teams. We've got 3 Gazelle cannon here to make sure any helicopter coming in is intercepted, and one commander is sent in onto Bravo. A bit risky to send him over here by his own, but well, there's no one here. There really are troops over there, so it's not that much of a problem, but it could have been. Over here in Oscar has been captured by the commander, who is nearly out of fuel. Infantry units are called in to secure the area. In terms of points, we've got a NATO quite, well, it's always the same, 400 to 100. It's, well, not really an advantage. It's pretty much nothing. A bit of shelling here on Delta without, well, a bit of damage on the flak panzers here, but the commander is still in a pretty good shape, so no real problem here. The commander is nearly into Bravo. He just waited a little over here to make sure the infantry wipes out the enemy opposition before he moves in, which is a good idea, of course. Not capping Bravo for a few seconds and making sure the commander stays alive is a good move. Echo still in the hands of nobody, sorry. The NATO players haven't sent a new commander as of yet. And, well, that's still a loss, but I mean, they are controlling Mike and Oscar. And the PACT players are controlling Foxtrot and Hotel now. They have moved in on the left flank. And one new front line, sorry, I just missed the word left there for a few seconds. A new front line is taking form just between Bravo and Foxtrot. Once again, the MLRS are shooting in the general area of Gulf, hoping to destroy anything, shooting, well, more or less between the T-55 and the BMP-3. None of those units have been destroyed, just a bit of morale damage over there. PACT players are sending in infantry to try to counter-attack and stop the enemy's advance in the forest. And for now, it's more or less working. The Jaggers are getting killed. Well, we managed to stop the Machuzan actually. And once more, there is Malkas hitting, one direct hit on the M5 System G, and the second one, the commander is killed. That's a pretty bad situation here for NATO, who have just lost their reinforcement area over there. They're going to have to call back a new commander, well, which is coming in all the way from Charlie to recapture Oscar. Jalma surrenders. Oh, that's a bad news for the PACT players. One player, well, may be disconnected. That's highly probable. It happens quite often, unfortunately. So it's now 3 versus 2, 3 NATO players versus 2 PACT players, and it's pretty much balanced in terms of points. Still, at least 1,300 points to 3,300 points to go. Sorry, no, what I'm saying, 3,700 points to go to finish the game. So we're not done just yet. A long road is still ahead of both teams. Bravo has been controlled by the PACT players, allowing them to call in a lot of reinforcements and create a nice front line here, well defended with a lot of infantry and Delta forces just behind, who will probably move forward quite soon. In the middle of the map, one new commander is coming in, probably to cap Echo, and on the right side, still no new commander for Oscar, but it will probably... oh, here it is. A non-armed commander coming in to capture Kilo or Oscar. We'll see pretty soon. Once again, a bit of a mistake here. The PACT forces aren't attacking. These units aren't really useful. And, well, they could have stopped any PACT incursion from Lima to the right side of the map. Unfortunately, the NATO players have been there before. So they aren't really useful in a defensive position, and they could attack, but they aren't doing so. It's pretty much more or less a waste, if I may say so. They could have attacked, especially regarding the meager defenses in Lima, but I already said that, didn't I? So once more the MLRS is shooting into Gulf, and once more it does absolutely no damage, well, at least no destruction. On the left side, this face-to-face is continuing. The Delta forces are moving forward, but no army is apparently willing to attack decisively. Fog Echo is now in control of the NATO players, and Oscar probably, well, not really yet, not quite yet. The unarmed commander, the M15 1A1, is still on its way to Oscar. So in terms of points, how much? We've got 4, 7, 10, 12, 14, 17, sorry, 21 and probably 24 when the commander arrives, versus 6, 9, 6, 10, 13, 15, 18, so 24 versus 18. It will be an advantage, well, it is an advantage for the NATO players, and will increase when the commander arrives in Oscar. So for now, the PACT players are still in front, but if they want to maintain their lead, they're gonna have to make a little push, well, at least to capture Papa and Oscar, and to make a little push, well, speaking of capturing Papa, one commander has been sent. The PACT players will have to make a little push to make sure the NATO small advantage won't lead them to victory. And speaking of a push, well, they aren't doing it right now. It's more or less a stalemate in this game. Still no offensive in Lima. A few units are sent behind, and it looks like, well, the a little part of this army has been destroyed. I mean, one T-64 is no longer there. Most of the Zalos have been killed. Still got a couple of tanks, but no recon. That's probably the problem here. Without any recon, they can't really know what's waiting them in Lima, so they aren't attacking. That's probably the reason. They don't know what's in Lima, of course, and no recon doesn't help, so they are just waiting while they could have attacked and deal quite a lot of damage. I mean, over here there's nothing to stop them. They've got tanks, they've got a good anti-air, and quite a lot of units, so yeah, it's too bad. A few units here sent over here, probably to start on a little offensive. Still the Malkas shelling the NATO position, but more or less blindly, which gives little to no results. The commander has finally arrived in Oscar, and Oscar is captured by the NATO players. That will allow them to recruit a lot of units in this area. And PACT also has its commander that just arrived in Papa, which will then also allow a nice recruitment area, and they will probably have a nice front line and nice battles in this forest. 1800 points versus 1600 points. NATO players are now in the lead. Of course, they have more revenue, so it's going to be tough for the PACT players. It's always the same thing. I think I've been saying it every time I've commented an economic game since its appearance in DLC 3, but players have to get used to the game, and it's actually pretty hard when you play. when do you counterattack, when is the good situation, when is the right time. In this situation, for example, I'll just pause a second, well, maybe not to just show you what's happening, but continue speaking. We've got NATO that is reaching its objective quite quickly, only 2,000 points left, with 1,000 point left, which can go pretty quickly. At this rate, they've got nearly 24 points every 4 seconds, so that's really a lot of points. You can see it goes up really quickly, even at we are at 3 times the speed, but it goes quite quickly compared to the PACT players. So 70% points here, and only 1,000 points to go. It's really the time for the PACT players to do something. They aren't going to catch up with the situation that is now going on. They are behind in terms of earnings, so they will have to push back the NATO players in a few sectors to contest the sectors and make sure the PACT NATO players get less income, and also to oblige NATO players to recruit and to spend points to maintain their map control. If the NATO players attack, PACT players attack too late, well, the NATO players will just have to pull back and not spend points and just earn the little points left they need to win. And if so the PACT players need to start thinking about an attack really quickly, and it doesn't seem to be the case. We've got a few helicopters massing up here, but if they don't attack quickly, they won't be able to do anything. They really need a very big attack. I'd even emphasize on maybe spending, like, if you really want to go full, you can spend all the points. I mean, it's 2,500 points spent to attack will oblige. Well, imagine a big attack of all those points in the middle of the map. It will just push back the enemy through Echo, Delta, and probably Charlie, and that will be at least 2 sectors captured, or at least contested by the PACT players. And if NATO wants to defend the area, they're gonna have to spend a lot of points. And well, so it's really a tough call in the economic games. It will get a lot of views too, but that's something I really like. It's something players really have to think about in the game. So it adds some kind of strategic dimension to the game. And once again, the MLRs are shooting in the direction of the commander, and the rockets didn't even have time to hit the commander. The game has been won by the NATO players, 3,671 points versus 2,942 points. So in terms of kills, casualties, and command points, well, it's pretty much balanced. A bit of an advantage here with less casualties for the NATO players, and very few command points that have been secured by the NATO compared to the PACT players. Only 500 points more. So it's just, as you can see, it's 700 points more or less difference between the two teams, and those 700 points are the 500 you see here and a bit of the 600, 700 that are here. They've lost a bit less units, 600 points less, so they've been able to spend a bit less on those units, on reinforcing, so they've been able to save a bit more. So that's pretty much it. You just, well, farm a little more and lose a little less, allows you to win economic games. And once more, it's always, in a destruction game, when you really think about it, in a destruction game, these points don't really aren't shocking. I mean, it's 3,600 destruction against 2,900. It's okay, but in an economic mode, you just think these guys were gonna lose. The PACT players were gonna lose. So why on earth didn't they spend their 2,900 points to counterattack and just wipe out the NATO forces, or at least push them to spend their own money? But once again, it's always the same thing. I'm commentating is easier to say after a match than actually pulling it off during a match. And of course, economic mode being quite a new mode and not that much played by players, which is pretty unfortunate. It's gonna take some time getting used to. So that's it for the second game in the second round of the Clash of the Clans. I hope you like the game. Thanks for watching. See you soon for the third match, and well, see you next time. Thanks.